is being recorded so that you can view it again later if you want to. And also, if you have questions during the session, please just write them in the chat and we will take them at the end. Okay, so this webinar is about the electronic PLM that Minerva has made. Generally, we can say that the electronic PLM solution is a solution that has been made to handle the complex product structures in the electronic high-tech industry. But it can also be used as a quick start for implementation in other industries. So, a little bit about me. My name is Thomas. I'm going to be the presenter today. And I've been working for Minerva for the last 9 years. Currently, I am the product market manager for the electronic PLM solution and the medical device solution that Minerva have made. If you want more information either on this solution or Minerva, you can visit one of the two websites on the slide here. So who is Minerva? Well, Minerva is an IT consultant company. We are an Aras partner. We are the largest Aras partner in the world right now. We have offices throughout Europe, Denmark, Sweden, UK, Holland and France. And we also have a close cooperation with partners in Australia, US and Canada. So we are working with partners outside of Europe, and in Europe we do most of the work ourselves. What distinguishes Minerva from other consultant companies is that we are not a typical IT consultant company. What we want to do is we want to help our customers improve their business. And we have consultants that are not just IT consultants, but also has a business background. These are some of the customers that we have on the electronic PLM solution. And if we take, for instance, this sub 10 systems in the bottom, that's a small startup company in the UK where they decided to use PLM as from the beginning because they had experience with PLM from other companies, and they saw the advantage of getting PLM implemented right away when they started. It's a small company and it has a few users on the system. But then you can also look at, for instance, Camstrup, which is a larger customer, which are a company that has been around for many years, and they have decided now to take the next step and move into using PLM. And they also use this electronic PLM solution in order to get closer to the to an implemented system quickly, and then be able to use the implementation effort on things that are specific to them instead of concentrating on getting the foundation built. So the electronic PLM solution is used in a wide range of companies when it comes to size. What is common to them, all of these, are that they have complex products. They have complex product structure. So they have electronics, they have mechanics, and they have software. And that is what we are aiming at doing with this electronic PLM solution, is to make it easier to handle these complex product structures. So why did we in Minerva find Aras to be of interest? Well, there were basically two elements that we found to be unique for Aras. One was the business model, where opposed to the different the other and sorry, I had forgot to show my screen. So that is, thank you, Jens, for pointing that out to me. So let's start again. So here we can see the customers that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. I'm really sorry about this. That's what can happen in this communication age. So we were talking about this sub-10 system, the small company, and we also talked a little bit about this Camstrup, a larger company. And you can see we have quite a few companies on the customers on this electronic PLM solution. So back to this, why did Minerva find Aras to be of interest? Well, we saw the market was changing, and we went out to look for a new PLM system to work with quite a few years ago. And what we found when we did an investigation of the PLM market was we found Aras, and we found two elements to be unique. One was the business model, where you don't have to pay this upfront license to get the software. You can download the software for free, you can test it, you get the full solution, and you can see if it is something for you. And then, if as a customer, if you want to, you can choose to go on subscription. And subscription would be the equivalent to a support agreement with another system. But the subscription is not only support, it's more than that. If you are on subscription, then the upgrades of Aras are included in the subscription fee. So that no matter how many customizations you make, no matter what you use the system for, Aras will always guarantee to upgrade it, and they will do it for free. All this means that the risk is more balanced between us and our customers, which make it more like a partnership instead of a typical customer-provider relationship. And all of our customers have also chosen to go on subscription, because if you are not on subscription, it's a little bit like driving a car without insurance. So you can buy the new BMW and you can go out on the road and start driving, and everything goes well until you have that accident. If you then don't have an insurance, then you have a problem. The other thing we found to be unique was the architecture of Aras. Aras is a modern system, and because it is modern, it is built on more modern and new technology than many of the other PLM systems out there. And what we can see and what we heard from other users and companies that had implemented Aras was that it took significantly less effort to implement compared to other systems. And also the fact that we don't have, because of the license model, where you don't have to pay for licenses to get the software, you can do an incremental approach. You can find a small area that you want to improve, and you can test the Aras on this small area to see if Aras is actually working, and then, if you want to, you can expand the scope. What we typically see when we come into to a customer in the electronic and high-tech industry, and quite frankly in any industry, is something a little bit similar to this, where we see there are a lot of different information islands spread around the company, where you have one system to handle your ECOs, you have one system to handle quality, you have maybe an MCAD system, an ECAD system, and you have a lot of information located in shared drives on network. And this means that when you want to do a change to this, to information here, you don't have the visibility of what will the impact be of this change. So if I am writing an ECO, I'm putting in this ECO database, but the ECO database is not connected to the rest of my product information. So I'm not able to see, well, if I am changing this part, what will the effect be throughout my product information? Will it affect other parts? Will it affect other products? Which drawings do I have to update? Is this related to any previous quality issues? This is information that is difficult to find because the systems here, or the information islands, are not connected together. And what many of our customers actually see is that this picture it's not quite as they have it. It is actually not complicated enough. But we didn't have the imagination to make it any more complicated than this. And what we typically see when we come into the electronic and high-tech industry is that there are a certain amount of challenges that are common. One is the internal development versus the external development, and getting to be as one. Because if we look at the electronic and high-tech industry over the last couple of years, we can see that there has been a focus where companies are focusing on their core competences. So some companies are really good at designing products, others are good at manufacturing products or doing a specific part of the manufacturing process. And this means that there is a quite complex supply chain, and our customers have a lot of external partners that they have to collaborate with. And it is very important to extend the PLM system into this supply chain in order to get the full benefit of it. Because a lot of the parts of the supply chain that you earlier had within your own company now is spread on many different companies throughout the supply chain. So getting this being as one in the product development is quite important. And then, of course, we can see that the products are becoming more and more complex. You have the electronics, you have mechanics, and you have more and more software getting into the products. And this makes it more and more complex, and you need a system that is able to handle this complexity. And then, of course, it's managing documentation, change management, traceability, and so on. And all the way through quality, to get this closed loop, to get everything connected. If we take a look at the standard solution from Aras, there are basically 3 modules you get when you download the standard solution. You have the program management for doing project management, you have the quality planning for doing your quality processes like FMEA and so on, and then you have the product engineering. Product engineering is the backbone of the PLM system. This is where you do your BOM management, you do your change management, you have document management, and so on. And this is something you get when you download the system, and you get it for free. But when you download the system, Aras is not tailored towards any specific industry. So that means that if you want to use it within electronics industry, if you want to use it in the medical device industry, if you want to use it in the automotive, there are some things you have to change in order to make the system work for your specific industry. And that is what we have done with this electronic PLM solution. Minerva has been working within the electronic and high-tech industry with PLM for the last 12 years, and we have done about 30 or 35 implementations of PLM in this industry. So what we have done with this solution is that we have seen, well, what are the common things that we have done? What can we see that all of our customers have a need for, and which requirements are common for all of them? And we have built this pre-configured solution so that we can reduce the time of implementation, and we can spend the implementation effort on the things that are unique for each customer, instead of starting with spending a lot of time on building this basic foundation. So we have practices for document management, change management, office integration, how do you do external collaboration, and so on. And we have built this on the product engineering module of Aras. If we take a quick overview of the electronic PLM solution, we start with an import tool to import data. We will get into this and show a demo of it, where you can take your bill of materials, parts, and so on, and import into the system. This import module is then connected to the data model with change management, and that moves us into the center here, where we have our data model, where we have built a specific data model for the electronic and high-tech industry based upon the experiences that we have from other customers. Then on the right-hand side, we have two solutions for collaborating externally with other partners. So we have a permissions manager and we have PDX Export, and we will also get into all of these elements further down in the presentation, and we will have demos of all of them. What we also see is that we typically make integrations to ERP, and what we have done there is that we have built an export module so that we trigger-based can export data from Aras and pull it into the ERP system, and this is also a part of our electronic and high-tech solution, the electronic PLM. And of course there is an integration to Microsoft Office. Then Aras is a web-based system, so you log in through your browser, and when you get in, you have a standard web-based user interface, where you have on the left here we have our table of content, where you access the elements and objects within the system like parts, documents, changes, and so on. And what you have access to here is then based upon which permissions do you have in the system, what are you allowed to do. And if we see here, we have a picture of my InBasket, and this is the place where I will get the notifications about everything I have to work on, even if it's change orders, change requests, things I have to do within the project, or action items that have been sent to me. I will see all of them here. Then, if we quickly move into the document management side of Aras, most of our customers are maintaining their document templates within Aras. This means that you can have revision control on your document templates, and by combining this with the Office integration, then you can make sure that the users are actually using the correct templates for your documents. So if you have a specific template for your specifications or your standard operating procedures or anything else, then you can maintain the templates within Aras. So you have revision control on them. And then when you want to create a new document from these templates, you can, as it's shown here, you can do it from within Aras and then select this create new document from template, and a new document object will be created, and the file attached to this document object will be based upon this template. What you also can do is that you can use the Office integration. So then you will get a new tab within Aras, and from here you can also create the documents directly, and that would also create documents objects in Aras. And you can either create them from templates, or you can create them directly without using the templates. One of the good things about this integration is that if we see directly below the innovator name on the tab, you can see we have some metadata. So here we have the name, we have the document number, the revision, and so on. And all this metadata, all metadata from the document object in the system can automatically be inserted into the actual document. So if you change the metadata in the system, it can automatically be updated in your document. This is then how the document object actually looks within Aras. So you can see we have the top here, where we have our metadata like document number, revision, which state it is in, name, and so on. And here we can of course add and remove all the properties we want to have. If we look on the bottom half of the screen, you have two different tabs. You have the File tab, where you attach the files that you want to associate to this document object. Typically we see that our customers are attaching two files, one native file like this PowerPoint file here, and one viewable file, for instance a PDF. In Aras there is also a built-in PDF generator, so we can automatically build PDF files. Then if we move into the product record, which is the bill of material, then what we have seen is that there is a need to be able to easily distinguish between parts and how you describe and classify your parts. So what we have done is that we have made this two level. So we have the classification, where you have a certain you have a list of the different parts you want to be able to create, like a custom electronic part, a standard electronic part, and so on. And then based upon which of these classifications you choose, then you get a certain list of subclasses that further refines these classifications. And then if we look at the far right side, we have the part object. And first of all, you can see that it is quite similar to the document object, and all objects in Aras are built up on in the same way, that you have this form up here with metadata, and then you have additional informational tabs on the bottom. And if we look at this attribute tab, then the content of this, where we can enter data like material, ROS compliance, value, and so on, the content here is actually based upon the combination of classification subclass, so that you can define down to a very detailed level the differences between the different parts you have. This minimizes the work that users have to do when they create and search for parts. Another thing that we have seen as a need for almost all of our customers is the need to have a minor revisioning. Out of the box, Aras only have the major revision, and we have implemented a minor rev so that we can support this form, fit, function thought about changes. So if you do a minor rev, it's not a form, fit, function change, and you don't have to rev up the level above. But if you do a major revision, then it is a form, fit, function change, and you should create a new revision of the BOM level above also. Another thing that we also have done is that we have incorporated different life cycles for different parts, because the way you manage your products or your parts are dependent on which life cycle they are in. So if you have a PCBA that is in prototype, you don't manage it the same way as if it was in production. So this is something that we have built into the system, and it is also related to the change management. So let's do the first little demo. What we are going to do now is that we are going to log into Aras. We are going to find a product called the Minerva pad, and we are going to take a look at what is the product record lifecycle about this. We are going to see a little bit about the different bill of material components, take a look at the approved manufacturers list, do where used, and we are also going to see something about the structure browser. So if I quickly just log in, let's see, I am already logged in. So now I am inside Aras. And what I'm going to find now is I was going to find this Minerva pad. So I'm going to search up here in this blue bar, which is a search bar where I can sort sort of like in Excel, and I can see I have several different products here or parts with the M pad in the name. So I'm going to open this one, the PLM 0001, and let's view it. So here I can see I have this product. I can see that I have the part number here, the name, MPAD 64 GB with FM radio. I can see that the state is released, and the production state, the life cycle I was just talking about, is prototype. So this is a product for a prototype. If I take a look here at the bottom, I can see that there is different tabs here. I have attributes, I have bill of material, I have BOM structure, I have changes, AML, and so on. Let's see here. And if we go back here to the main screen, we can also see that I can see the revision, the major revision, minor revision, which classification it is, and the state, and so on, also directly here in the search grid. So let's get back to it here. I'm going to open the bill of material, and I can see here that these are the parts that are related directly in the level below the PLM 0001. If I move to the BOM structure, I will get a picture of the entire structure. And now I can expand all, and I can see I have my multi-level bill of material. So I see I have this subassembly here, the 0026, which is a power management integrated circuit, and I can see I have different components going in here. For instance, this condensator here. So if I want to, I can directly go from the BOM structure here, and I can open this condensator. So now I am into the condensator here, and if I want to, I can go into this approved manufacturers list, and I can see, well, do I have any AML list here? And I can see here that on this AML I have a capacitor from Panasonic. So this is information to my manufacturing partners or my own manufacturing that when you are building, when you are using this condensator, you should use this one from Panasonic when you actually build. I could have several here, and then I can say that one is preferred and one is alternate. If I want to see if this is used anywhere else, I can go to Views, do Where Used, and I can see here that I have here my condensator, this one, the 0016, and I can see that it's used in this part here, the 5514042, and also, of course, in the part that I got into it from, the 0026, but also in this part 006. What I also can see here is that it is related to an MCO, a manufacturer change order. Okay. So let's close that down, and let's get back to this PLM. I'm now going to show you a structure browser, which also gives us the complete configuration of this product. So if I see here, I have the entire structure down here. What I can do here is that I can see that this is in revision D4. I'm now going to compare it side by side with another version. So I'm going to take the previous revision and put that up on the side here. I can also expand this, and now I can click this redlining to see, well, what is the actual differences here. So I can see that this part that is red, 004, it's in B2 on revision D4 here, but it's in A1 in C3. And then I can navigate further down to see, well, what is the actual change here. This part here, PLM 0013, is blue. That means that it is present here on the C4 revision, but not over in the D4 revision. So that has been removed from this. So this is a very good way of getting a quick overview of the two revisions, and then being able to deep dive down to see the actual difference. So let's get back to the presentation. Because then we move into the change management part of this system. And the way we think about change management is that, well, it usually starts with engineering change requests. So you might have several different ECRs, and then you of course have a workflow connected to this. What most of our customers have is something called a change control board. And in this change control board, they meet regularly and they review all the open ECRs that are in the system. Typically, you will then see that several of these ECRs can be related to each other, so that you can view or work with fewer ECRs, and then limit the effort you need to have. Then you work through the ECR process, and typically it has two outcomes. Either the ECR is approved or it's disapproved. If the ECR is approved, this is when you trigger the ECO process. And the ECO process is the actual implementation of the changes you have decided to do. So here you also have a workflow related to it, and you have the ECRs that we have approved are then related to this ECR. Then you work through this workflow, do assignments and everything like that. You close the ECO, and that automatically closes the related ECRs. So then you have what we call a closed loop. And the way we have made this change management is that it is tightly related to the life cycles. So early in the life cycles, when you are in preliminary prototype, you have a high degree of freedom of what you are allowed to do and who is allowed to make changes to the product. But as the product matures and evolves, then the degree of freedom decreases, so that there will be a more formal review of the changes as you go into pilot, production, and so on. The number of life cycles and the name of the life cycles can of course be changed to whatever fits you the best or your company. In the past, we have typically seen that we have made a lot of different workflows for our customers to handle the change management, because change management is quite complex. So most of our customers, we implemented this fast track workflow for a minor internal change to be able to cater to the designers' need to do a lot of changes early on, but still keep a revision history of it. And then this medium internal change workflow, when we progressed a little bit, so that we were able to have, for instance, a technical review, a departmental review, or something like that. And then we made different workflows to cater for different needs in the change management. And this is all very good, and in theory it works very well. What we saw was that in most of the cases, then 98% of all changes were then assessed to be a minor internal change, so that it were no review stages and the engineer or whoever created the change can just do it themselves. And that is not the intent. So what we have done in the electronic PLM solution is that we have, instead of making all these different workflows, we have made one workflow that is then dynamic and based on business rules. So based on the production states that you are in and the maturity of your product, the system chooses for you which routes are you allowed to take through the workflow, so that the user doesn't have to think about, well, what type of change is this, because that is already been set up and the system will choose for you. This is an ECO in Aras, where we have an impact matrix to show, well, what is the actual impact of this change. What I am changing here is a triangular antenna, and if we take a look, we can see that this impact matrix automatically brings us the bill of material for it, but it also shows me, well, this antenna, in which products are this actually being used. So I can see that this antenna is being used in a GSM modem, it's in a mini triangular antenna, external antenna, and so on. And then I can assess, well, if I am making a change to this antenna, will I then also have to create a new revision of the levels above? And this is where the minor, major rev comes in. So do I have to do rev up or don't I? And you select here, if you want to do a new revision of the levels above, you just do it directly in this window. When you run the process, the workflow, then everything is, you can have the assignments automatically sent to the correct people if you have set up the system like that, or you can ad hoc assign people to it. But the people you have assigned the workflow and the activities to will get a notification in their InBasket in Aras, and they can directly from here, they can start working on the ECO and do their activity. We can also, of course, send these notifications to your email system, like Lotus Notes or Microsoft Outlook, or whatever system you use. We also, of course, integrate with Active Directory. So let's do another demo. So let's go into the system. We're going to find a part, create an ECO on it, and route it through the change. Okay? So let's go in to the system again. We are again here on parts, and let's find this let's find this simple subassembly here. I'm going to view this one, and I can see that this is an accessory to my AMPAD. I'm going to take a look at the bill of material here. I can see it consists of two different parts, and one of them is this condensator here, which is in preliminary. And what I actually want to do is that I want to release this one, because it is now approved and ready for production. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just release it. I right click on the part and I take add items to change. I'm going to select this Express ECO and put it in. So now I have an ECO here. I'm going to take it, call it part release. And we can see here that the production state is preliminary and the target state is also preliminary. And the state is preliminary. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this state and set it to release. I can see that it's also being used in this simple subassembly, and what I actually want to do is if I make this change, will it have any impact? So I'm going to review this and see, oh, when I put review on, I can see that this simple subassembly, the MPAD accessory kit board, is actually a part of two different accessory kits. So now I have to think about, well, if I am releasing this condensator, will that affect any of the levels above here? Will it affect my accessory kit 002 and my accessory kit 001? Probably not, because it's only a part release. So I'm going to select this condensator here and say release, and I'm not going to affect the others, but I am going to revise this part that I started from. And as you see here, now I am releasing this condensator. It automatically set release both places it's been used, and I also took this simple subassembly and said revise, and automatically it sets revise on both structures it's being used in. So now I've actually done everything I need to do. So I have said that I want to make a new revision of the simple subassembly MPAD accessory board, and I'm going to release the condensator that is used to it. So now I can go to my sign-offs tab here, and here I can see that the activity here is planning. The state is active, it's assigned to me, and I can click vote now to start work on it. If I also just quickly take a look at the workflow, I can see that this is how my workflow looks, and I can see by this yellow dot that it is in planning. So if we just keep this picture in mind, I will do my first step here and click complete. And now I am moving it into the next activity where I see its draft changes. The planning is now closed, the draft changes is active, and if I now look at the workflow again, I can see that it looks different. Because the production state is preliminary, I have now only one possible route through this workflow. The rest have been deleted. So the system does that for me. So now I can close the change. I have to provide my password and click complete. So now this ECO is done. I can go back and I can now see that I now have the revision F here. I can view that again. I can take the bill of material here and I can see that my condensator is now released. So I have a new revision of this SC 5001, and it contains a released version of my condensator. So that was one way of making a change. A different way of making a change is you doing it through our import tool. So if you have a bill of material change, let's say you have made one in your ECAD tool or your MCAD tool or something like that, then you can export this new bill of material into your into an Excel file, and we can use this Excel file to import the change into Aras. The import tool is started from within Aras, and it has several process tabs that will be available as you go through the import process. We can import parts, we can import bill of material, we can import approved manufacturers information, and we can import data to the attributes tab of parts. The import tool is linked to the change management process, so if you are making a change to released data, then you will have to go through an ECO process in order to complete the change, and that ECO will automatically be created by the import tool. And you can find them by the prefix import tool in your in Aras. So let's do another demo. We're going to find a product called TX001. We are going to take a look at this product, and we're going to do a change to this product through the import tool. So let's find a product called TX. Here it is. Oh, it's another AMPAD. So let's take a look at this. So here I can see that I have my product. I can see that it is released, so I am not allowed to do any changes to it now unless I use a change order. So let's take a look at the bill of material. Oh, there is no bill of material. That's not good. We have to have a bill of material. So let's see if I don't have a small Excel file here. So here I have an Excel file, and it has 3 columns: source ID, related ID, and quantity. And I could add more tabs here, but this is the minimum I need in order to import a bill of material. So what I will do now is, you can see that this TX001, which is the part we just looked at, that is source ID, that means parent. This part has several parts on its bill of material, which is these here. And then I can see that the last one here, TX0026, is actually also a parent. So that this is a subassembly that actually connects to, that has these bill of material parts. So when I import this information here, I will create a multi-level bill of material on my TX001. So let's do that. I go into Aras again. I go to import tool. What I'm importing is bill of material, so I select BOM file, and this was the webinar BOM import. I'm going to select that, and then I click check all. What I did now was that I uploaded into Aras and checked that the format was okay and everything. Now I'm going to do process all, and now the import tool is checking towards Aras to see, well, what are the actual changes being made and what is the state of the information in Aras. So I'm going to add it to an ECR, and I'm going to call this webinar. Take a look at the import analysis, click on bill of material, and here I can see what I am importing. And I can see that it's taken the information from my Excel file. So I'm going to go to start the import and click import to Aras. Now I am importing data, it's creating the change and making the change. So import was successful. Now I can go to change management, go to ECO, and if I go down here, I can see that I have a new change here, import tool webinar. I can open this one. I can go to my sign-offs tab, and I can complete this change. Now that is done, I can go back into parts here and find my product again, the TX001. I can see I have a new revision. I'm going to view this, and let's see if we now have a BOM structure. Yes, we do. So now we have built this multi-level bill of material through an import, and also automatically had a change order created. So into the final part of the webinar here is about the collaboration and our permission manager. So typically what we see is that our customers are collaborating with external partners, and then they need to be able to give access to a specific part of the product structure. And for that we use this permission set. So I have a partner here, and he is manufacturing this electronics module within my structure. And what I do is that I now grant him access to only this module and the components, approved manufacturers list, document, and so on that is related to this specific module. And of course I can select, well, should he be allowed to see the documentation or not, or the bill of material, or the approved manufacturers list, and so on. The way we do it is that we have this special permission set that we can create directly on the information that we want to share, and then we select what should be visible for the external partner and what should not be. So again, let's do a small demonstration. So I'm going to go back into Aras, and actually for this to be a good demonstration I actually have to close down the windows and log out, because as you see now I'm logged in as Leon. I'm going to log in as the external manufacturer just to make sure, so that you can see that I'm not cheating. I'm going to log in, and now I'm logged in as an external manufacturer, as you can see here in the bottom. You can see that the table of content has changed because I don't have the same permissions as I had as my previous user. So I'm going to go into parts here, and I'm going to search for any parts that has a part number that starts with EXT. And we can see, if we look in the bottom, 0 items found. So I am not allowed to see anything, any parts that have a part number that starts with EXT. So I'm going to log out, and I'm going to log in again as Leon, because I would actually like this external partner to be able to see this EXT001, which is my external partner subassembly. So what I do is I right click, create special permission set, and then include parts. That will include the bill of material, include manufacturer parts, includes the AML list, include documents, take all the documentation that is related to this module and shares that. And well, for some reason now I don't want to include the documentation, so we shouldn't be allowed to see documents. Click OK, and this permission set is created. And we can see here that the part, the EXT001, has been added, but also all of the parts that are on the bill of material for this product or module has been added. So I'm going to give it a name here, webinar, and I'm going to go in here to the next tab, given permissions, and here I select, well, who should be allowed to see this. So I'm going to select this external manufacturer, and I'm going to give him the access to both read and write, because now I'm also giving him the ability to create a change request, for instance, so that if he wants to create a request for change on this module, he will now be able to do that also, and it will automatically be assigned to me. So I'm going to save it. And now everything is prepared. I have selected what should be given permission to and who should be given the permission, but it's not visible yet. The last thing I have to do is to actually release this permission, and once it hit release, then this information will be visible for the external user. So I'm going to log out again and log in again once more as the external partner. Oh, wrong password. So I'm going to find this part. Let's see now. Oh, now we can see. I can actually see this EXT001 and all the part that is related to it. And remember I said that the external partner should not be allowed to see documents. So I'm going to open this part here, external 001. I'm going to go to documents, and if you see here, there is actually a document related to this, but the only information I get is that it is restricted. So that I can see that there is something there, but I'm not allowed to see it. So it could have been that it was a mistake from me, that that I should actually have shared this document, but I forgot. And in that case, then the external manufacturer can come back to me. Okay, so let's continue. So the other way of sharing information is if you don't really want your external manufacturer or anybody else to access your system, then we have this PDX Export. PDX stands for Product Data Exchange, and it is an IEC standard for exchange of data. This means that you can basically do the same thing. You go to the part you want to share, or the module information that you want to share, you right click, but instead of doing this permissions, you do generate PDX. This will then generate a PDX package which contains all the information you want to share. It will include bill of material, documentation, and revision history and everything, and then you will be able to send this PDX package to your partners. The PDX package can be opened in the PDX viewer, which you can download free from the internet, and then they will be able to navigate through the product structure. They can see the documents, they can open the files, because the files are also embedded into this. They can export it into Excel, and they can also actually modify the PDX and create new versions of that. Okay, so now we have taken a look at the import tool. We have seen the data model with change management, parts, documents, life cycles, and we have taken a look at how we can collaborate with external partners. So let's see, I saw that there was some questions here. And yes, well, there is one question: if data can be imported from, for example, Altium Designer in a similar way as to the import from Solid Engineer. Well, all data that we import, as long as it is in a flat file, we can import it. As long as Altium can export to a flat file, then we can import it. Also, we're talking about Altium, it could be also beneficial to say that Aras have actually started a close partnership with Altium Designer in order to define a standard way of working with ECAD tools. So there will be a lot of exciting news with regards to Altium and ECAD connectors in the future. I hope that helped. And one more, can we hide information of the grid tabs for external partners? Yes, you can. That is simply a question of how we define it and set it up, so that, of course, you don't, for instance, want your partners to see, if you use the goal tabs, to see what is the goal, the price goal for this assembly. You don't want your manufacturing partners to see that. So yes, of course, that is possible. So, and now, well, I'm sorry, we are 1 minute over time. So if there are not any further questions, Then, if you want any more information on the electronic PLM, you can go to the electronic-strike-plm.com. You can also just email me if you want to. And as I said, that this webinar has been recorded, so it will be available on demand in not very long time, and you will all, of course, be notified when it is available so that you can go in, review it again, or share it with some of your colleagues. So, thank you all for attending. I hope you found it interesting, and I hope to hear from you again, see you at some ACE events or anything. So, feel free to contact Minerva. Okay, thank you.